Hey all, Tyler here with eBike Commuting. Today we're going to walk through the Flyer Via, which is Flyer's long-tail cargo e-bike. This bike's designed for carrying 2 kids in the back or groceries or other gear. I would say the Flyer Via is an entry-level cargo bike. It's priced at a little bit over $2,000. Once you add in all the accessories, which I'll go through in more detail later in this video, the price of the version I tested out was about $2,800. So still much cheaper than the front loader cargo bikes, which are, $8,000. In this video, I'm going to tell you what I like about it and where it fell short. So let's get to it. All right, let's start with things I liked about the Flyer Via. So first was the 500-watt rear hub motor. It felt very powerful to ride. It felt like it had a lot of acceleration, which I really liked. It's a Shimano 7-speed, so it had a good range of gears, which made it easy to tackle hills as well as on the flats, not feel like I was spinning out. Another thing I like about the Via is that it comes with a throttle. I find throttles should be super useful, especially on cargo bikes when getting started from a standstill, when it's fully loaded with kids on the back. That can be pretty challenging sometimes. It's got a really big UL certified lithium ion battery back here. I like that the battery is in the center of the frame and also a little bit lower down. It just helps with the weight distribution. Having a little bit lower to the ground just means the bike is a little more stable. The battery gives it a range of 30 to 50 miles as advertised by Flyer, which is about on par and what I'd expect in this type of long-tail cargo e-bike. Small little thing, but something I do like. I like the color scheme of it. It kind of reminds me of the Turn, I think, has some colors like this, but I just like that it's not just black or white, like a lot of e-bikes are just black or white these days. So let's quickly talk about the weight of the bike. So the Flyer Via is lighter than a lot of other long-tail cargo bikes out there. It's only 68 pounds. It's so much lighter than some of its competitors that I actually emailed Flyer just to confirm that that weight that they have listed on their website is with the battery included, which it is. Let me show you how the Flyer Via stacks up against some similar cargo e-bikes. All the way on the left-hand side at the lightest is the Flyer Via. It's 68.5 pounds. It has a carrying capacity of 400 pounds. And as we move up the scale in terms of weight, the next one at 74 pounds is the Turn GSD S10. That's 74 pounds and has a payload capacity of 440. Just next to that is the Velotric Packer 1 at 75 pounds, also with that 440 payload capacity. Then moving up the scale at 81 pounds, you have the Aventon Abound, which also has 440 capacity. And then interestingly, as we get up into the top range at 86 pounds is the Radwagon 5, but the payload capacity here actually drops down only to 375. So the Radwagon here has one of the lowest payload capacities and is also one of the heaviest e-bikes, which I thought was interesting. And then at the tipping the very end of the scale of the bikes I was looking through is the Specialized Haul LT at 88 pounds, and that has a payload capacity of 441 pounds. As you can see, the Flyer Via is on the lighter side of long-tail cargo e-bikes. Before we get to the accessories, I do want to talk about the kickstand of the Flyer Via. What I like about the kickstand is that it's easy to put down and to put up, especially when you have kids on there. It's easy to get on and off. You don't feel like a big lugging kind of like bump as you get them off the kickstand. The reason for that is that legs of the kickstand are not that long, so you're not actually lifting the bike up that much. It's not kind of like teeter-tottering on that kickstand. Here I am getting it off the stand. It's very, very smooth. Now let's talk about the accessories that Flyer sent me that really add to the riding experience and the cargo carrying experience. The kid and cargo carrier hoop comes included with the bike. That is just these bars that come across, as well as the seat pads. And then we have the cargo hauler bag. This is priced at $149. That's basically this bag that the kids can sit in. It's got pretty deep footwells where you can put groceries on either side or put gear on either side. It has these mesh pockets on the side. That's just nice for kids to be able to put their gear in. It also has a small little zip pocket here where maybe you could put some keys. It's got reflectors on the sides, so this zips down And that's how your kids can climb in through here. Here's a little video of my son climbing up.
Why did you put this on?
And then I've got the carry tote bag. This goes in the back. You could put one kid here and then your gear back there, or vice versa. It slides forward. It's very stable. It even has like a little pocket here. I honestly don't know how useful that would be. I think realistically I'll just be putting bags down here, especially like reusable grocery bags you could just put down there rather than in this bin up here. We also have the front storage basket, which is $129. This it's definitely an essential if you plan to carry kids in the back seat. Nice to have something up front where you can put a few things. It does have a little zipper pocket for a cell phone, which is great. And then I do like this little insert, just keeps little items from falling out. I've had issues with kids' water bottles falling out of other racks out of these holes on them. All right, so let's look at the canopy that I just installed. So the frame goes in pretty easily. These just click right in, and then the cover goes over the top like this. It really, the only place it's just Velcroing right here. So easy to put on. I like that you don't have to put the bars through kind of like a tent pole where you have to put it through the whole fabric. That can be sometimes hard to get on and off. Nice little flyer detail there. And then this is in the sunshade version. So it's got like a little screen here, nice to catch some of the bugs if you live in a buggy area. Seattle, thankfully, has very few bugs, so I don't really need that. And then to convert it to a rain canopy, this comes down, just Velcros along here. So now they have the rain shield on front, and then the sides, you zip on this piece. This piece zips on around the sides, so relatively easy to do. All right, now let's talk about a few areas that the Flyer Via fell short. The first area that it fell short was the distance from the pedaling area to the rear cargo area. I found as I pedaled, my kids' feet would hit the back of my feet as I pedaled, as well as if I was getting started from a standstill. Like here you can see, and I'm kind of turning as I'm getting started, my back of my foot would sometimes get caught underneath the rear of the bike. If you add this XL Haul bag to the rear area, that would keep your kids' feet from pushing forward and getting knocking against your feet. Two other things that I noticed are up in the front. The bell positioning is not great. It's basically right where your shifters are, and I just found that to be annoying to manage. To solve this issue, I moved the bell further away from the shifter, but then that meant it was hard to reach the bell. I would probably recommend getting a different type of bell and figuring out a different placement for it. The Via has a pretty rudimentary display. It just shows, your miles per hour, your odometer, your battery level, as well as your pedal assist level. So it's all there. It's just kind of a basic LED display rather than, a color LCD. The last thing I want to talk about is the assembly process. So all in all, it was relatively easy to assemble for a bike this big. They recommend adding pedal grease to the threads of the pedals before you install them, but they didn't include any pedal grease in the assembly tools. Oftentimes, bike companies will include just like a small little tube of pedal grease that you can add. So that would have been nice if they'd included that. And then the final thing was when I was adding the front basket, you have to have an extension wire to extend the headlight, because the headlight moves from the front of the frame out to the front of the cargo basket. The extension wire that came with that basket was actually the wrong type of wire that didn't fit on the Flyer Via. So potentially that's from their older models. So it was relatively easy to resolve. I just emailed the customer service team and they shipped out the correct type of wire. One other thing to call out is it doesn't have front suspension. That being said, I think because it has these Kenda puncture resistant tires that are really thick, I didn't really notice the bumps too much. Overall, the riding experience was very smooth and pleasant despite it not having front suspension. So that's the Flyer Via. If you are in the market for a long-tail cargo e-bike and you're looking for something in that entry-level price point, the Flyer Via is a great option. I really like the color. It's got a good motor that gives you a lot of acceleration. It has a throttle. It's got solid range. So all in all, just a great e-bike. I really enjoyed my riding experience on it, and the kids did too. If you've ridden this bike before, leave a comment and share your experience. And that's it for today. Happy riding.